Alright guys, welcome to Tech Nostalgia's another video. In this video we're going to talk about iOS 26 beta 3 version. So in this operating system, Apple just toned down their glass effect and reduced the transparency. Really? At this point, there's very little difference between the previous one and this operating system. So that means it's not a major upgrade as Apple was mentioning, as it was from iOS 6 to 7. The first major thing that Apple has changed in this operating system is reduce the transparency in the control center. So I think Apple listened to the criticism and they reduced the transparency because it was getting very hard to use. It looked like an iPhone theme on Android that has a glitch on it, but they fixed it. Now it is clearly usable and you can separate it from the background, but at this point there's no difference between iOS 18 or 26. They look very close to each other. Just a couple of reflections on the edges of the buttons and stuff, and just the animations are different. Rest everything looks very close to each other. Another thing that Apple added in this operating system is different variants of the original wallpaper that they added. And another thing that I noticed while adding the wallpaper is all the widgets were stuck to the top earlier. Now you can move them all the way to the bottom, even if your clock is small. You can just decide where you want it, up close to the time or bottom close to the shortcuts. You can move it around. Another thing, I don't know if it is a glitch or maybe Apple forgot or maybe it's intentional or maybe there are two different things. I noticed that while scrolling through the settings app, Apple introduced the new Games app in the iOS 26, but in the settings it still says Game Center. I'm not sure, maybe someone forgot to name it or change the icon, but in the setting it still shows as Game Center. That's quite weird. Another thing that I noticed in this operating system is the fonts in setting is a little bit more usable. Earlier it only had one sentence written there. You can use another app to install the fonts in the phone. Now they're actually showing what fonts are pre-installed and which one you have installed, and you can manage them. Another small difference that I noticed is once you swipe right on a message, once you mark it red, that animation is just a little different. There are a couple of more tweaks. Once you're scrolling through music, once you're scrolling through phones app, if you're into an app that has the navigation bar at the bottom, that transparency is reduced, so it is more legible and it is more usable. It makes more sense this way. My first thought when I looked at this operating system was to reduce the transparency in accessibility settings, but Apple just did it on its own. They reduced the transparency, so I don't know what they did. They just made it very close to the other operating systems. So in conclusion, I will mention that how Apple introduced the liquid glass in iOS 26 is almost a frosted glass by now, and it's getting very close to the previous operating systems, so it don't look like a major upgrade to me. Let me know what are your thoughts about it. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe the channel. See you in next video.